Hello all. Here at the second part of the Citation Mustang Garmin G1000 tutorial, we're going to do the actual approach. First, we review what we did at the first part. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Here on the multifunction display you can see the full approach. And at this point we're going to make the missed approach and going back to PG. It is important that you check this visual towards the active flight plan. Nasmu pitchy, runway up to 3600 and back to pitchy and hold. You can see the flight plan is the same as the visual on the multifunction display. It's always good to check that. Here back on the primary flight display, it is possible that the synthetic vision is not on. This is how you set it to active. Also here we can see the flight plan. And we're gonna check the frequencies for our radio communications and nav. Also heading autopilot yaw damper altitude 4000. When we're cleared for the approach we can go down to 3000. Back at the multifunction display we're gonna go over the chart and see if we got everything we need. Runway 1 right. We see localizer frequency. There's pitchy, our missed approach, holding a point. And we're gonna look at the profile here. We can go down to 3000, 2700 glide slope intercept, which is the final approach fix for the ILS. 1521 is our minimums, and for the localizer only it's 1680 with 2400 RVR. 3600 climb, then right turn to pitch is the missed approach procedure, and the touchdown zone elevation 1321. Also, it is important that you check everything on the plate itself, like minimum safe altitude, for if something goes wrong. Always turn towards the airport, and as you can see here for the whole sector around Pitchy it's 3600 feet. Back on the primary flight display we're gonna check everything again. 1320 destination elevation, the bare minimum is 1520. Now we're gonna set up our speed. Choose 200 knots and you will see it rise in a moment. Okay, presume that ATC has cleared us to 3000. So our altitude pre-select is already at 3000. Now we have to set our vertical path. You can see the top of descent there.
Vertical track.
And as you can see, the V-path is starting to come in. So now the V-path is armed, it is white. When it becomes green, it means it has intercepted it. When we reach the mark, V-path will be green and we will descend to 3000 feet. You can see on the overlay that we're very close to our top of descent, and there is the engagement. Now you see VPath blinking green, and we're going to descend to 3000. We reached 3000 and our altitude is blinking green, and it means that we reached 3000. This all, of course, in the presumption that we are cleared for the approach. We're going now towards Nazmu, and at Nazmu, or just before Nazmu, a lot of things will happen. Here we paused for a little bit so I can explain. Right now we are GPS and terminal. So when we reach Nazmu, the aircraft will turn inbound to a heading of our track, or of 013, and go towards Pichi. To intercept the ILS, we have to go to approach mode, and when we go to approach mode, the GPS will stop and the nav from the green needles will take over. So at Nazmu we will turn in, magenta GPS will still be on, but will short after turn into green needles. And when the green needles appear, it is very important that you identify the localizer frequency, which is on the left top of the screen, which is 110.3. At the same time, we will see the change from GPS to lock, and with the green needles we will also see lock green, and that is the most important thing at that time. Then after Nazmu towards Pichi, we know that we can descend down to 2700. So we do that with vertical speed, about 800 feet per minute. So to be sure to reach 2700 well before Pichi, it is important because at Pichi, or just before it, the final approach fix of the ILS will be engaged. So the glide slope intercept will occur there, and we want to be at 2700 feet before that. Otherwise we have to pitch down with vertical speed to catch up with the glide slope. You will see this all in a moment, but it is important that I tell you this in forehand. Now we're still flying with 200 knots, and we're gonna reduce that to 180 knots, especially because bring 15 degrees flaps, and on a Mustang it's 185. So right now it's 180 and we say flaps 15. 0.6 miles from Nazmu, and the GPS is turning the aircraft inbound, as you see. Now we just wait for green needles. And there we go. As you can see, 110.3 is green and lock green. And we can go down to 2700. Now you see the glide slope already coming in. So, as I said, it is important to reach 2700 before the glide slope intercept. So there's the altitude, 2700. The runway is in sight. And at one dot above, we're going to bring the gear down. There's one dot above, gear down. Now we check if the glide slope is set up with the approach, and it isn't. So I forgot to do that. So it's very important to check that at the same time as you bring the gear down. So glide slope green now. The aircraft is descending on the glide path. Now at 3 miles out we're gonna bring the flaps to 30. Since it's 150 at the Mustang, we set speed to 140. Now you see that 2700 on the altitude pre-select is yellow, and that is because it reminds us of the missed approach altitude. So we bring it up to 3600. Here's 3 miles out, so flaps go to 30, and we bring the speed back to VREF plus, which is about 110. Now we check and we say that we are in a mode which is applicable for the approach. That means that the speed is between VREF and VREF plus 20, that we are in landing configuration, less than 1000 feet per minute rate of descent. Now here we're gonna pause for a little bit because we have to see if the landing configuration is set up. Like we said, the approach profile is such that the airspeed is between VREF and VREF plus 20 and less than 1000 feet per minute rate of descent, and we are approaching the runway. So the next thing is going to be that our radio altimeter is going to be calling out 500 feet. At 500 feet, this is not standard what I'm going to tell you, but this is what I do, is I'm going to call out at 500 feet AGL, gear down, lock 3 in the green. Okay, to check that again. Flaps 30 and autopilot off and yaw damper off if the field is in sight. And then of course we should also check the missed approach altitude and verify to ourselves that we're clear to land. There are several things not included. Of course we have to do checklists, and we have to change frequencies. So the next thing is going to be 500, which is going to be gear down, lock 3 in the green, flaps 30, yaw damper off, pilot off, missed approach altitude set, and clear to land. Now we're going to set our airspeed to 170 knots in case of a missed approach, and we will. So there's 600 on the radio altimeter, waiting for 500. There's 500, so check gear down, lock 3 in the green. Flaps 30, yaw damper off, pilot off, missed approach altitude set. Now leave the autopilot and yaw damper on. So next is minimums. And 1 dot below we're going toga. Toga. The aircraft will pitch up, and I will do that. So pitch up. Flaps 15. Pause the rate, gear up. Now wait for 400 on the radio altimeter. Okay. Flaps up, yaw damper on, flight level change. Suspend off, CDI. GPS. Check if it is green and the FMS is engaged. At 700. Autopilot on. And bring the thrust back to climb thrust. We're gonna tell tower that we are doing the mist, and we change over to departure frequency and say that we are executing the mist approach as published. Now for the next video we're gonna do the mist approach. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe until next time. Bye bye.